Hello, my name's Katie and welcome to my shed. How are you keeping? I was going to say it feels like a long time since I've spoken to you. It isn't, but a lot has happened. A lot has been going on. Nothing massively exciting, so don't get too excited there. But what I want to do is come on here and have a chat with you. So actually this is the second time I've recorded the intro to the video because I started it last weekend with the intention of just doing a normal video, but I had every intention of painting my next painting in this series, so my next one with the Orwell Bridge, and I have started recording the video, but then life happened and I guess said to me, Katie, you don't quite have as much time as you think. So I haven't been able to do it. So rather than rush a painting just to get the video out and have something to upload for Saturday, I've decided just to sit down and be honest with you. We have got some stuff to share, so I will do that in a moment. So I guess I have talked about this before, but I feel like I want to talk about it again. I feel like I want to talk about the truths of trying to set up this business, this art dream, whatever you want to call it, alongside working full-time and everything else I've got going. So if you're new here and you haven't watched back on my previous videos, I do work full-time. I work for the NHS and work shifts, so that's why I sometimes get days off in the week. So today I've got Thursday off, which is today, which is lovely. But I'm then back at work tomorrow. Videos come out on Saturday, and then I'm back at work on Sunday. So it's just lots of stuff to do. Alongside that, you know, I have a house, I have a family, and there's stuff that needs doing. So as much as I want to just come in here today and paint and create a video for you of my next painting in this series, I know I'd be doing myself a disservice, and I won't be creating something that represents what I want to create. What I want to do is make sure that I'm creating art that is, I don't really like the word mindful, intentional, not just for the sake of doing it, which is definitely what I was doing previously. But after I gave myself that talking to in the new year, a few weeks back, or months back, that's not what I want to do. Sometimes I can manage everything and get it all done, and I can do life, I can do work, I can do this, but that is not this week. So I know that some of you that are watching today are also juggling similar things, jobs, families, your creative dreams, trying to make something sort of meaningful from your hobby, and it can sometimes feel like you're constantly choosing which bit of your life gets the attention, and that is definitely this week. And this week my paintings has had to go, unfortunately. But let's talk about what I can share with you. What I'll probably do is do a little rewind in time. I'm going to show you the workshop prep and the bits from the workshop that I can share. I can't share all of it because there's people there that don't necessarily want to be filmed. I mean, I don't ask them, but I'm just assuming they won't want to. And I will show you the prep that I have done for this week's painting. So let's go back in time and do that now. Right, what's the plan for the day? So I've got a few bits I need to prep ready for tomorrow's workshop. I have already recorded a little video of me demoing the printing. So we are doing Tetrapak printing, and I'd already done one demo which I'd shown you before, and I did one more piece last week which I recorded with the intention of putting it in last week's video, but last week's video is getting so long, so I cut that out and thought actually I'll put it in this week's video along with the workshop bits, so at least it feels a little bit more joined up, because I'm guessing not everyone that comes here watches every one of my videos, and they might just pop in for one. So this way you can see the whole thing. So I just need to get a few bits prepped for that, and then we're going to make a start on this week's piece. And I want to do the oyster catchers. Similar view, maybe not exactly the same, but very similar view, but with the oyster catchers. May or may not have the bridge in it. It might, we'll see. I'm going to go back to my reference photos and I'll pop them in, and we'll have a look and have a play. My goodness, I really can't get my words out. So we'll have a look and then we'll have a play. So first things, I'm going to send you back in time to last week when I was prepping for the workshop, and then we're going to come back to this week. Well, it's not my finest print, but you know, I feel like I do like the colour, but maybe it would have been better in a darker colour. And I just didn't clean the plate enough. I was deliberately trying to leave some dark on the feathers, but yeah, it just wasn't that clean, was it? But it'll be fine. It'll be fine for a demo to show people, you know, what can be done. Yeah, okay. I'm a bit annoyed with myself. It's just a bit too messy, but I don't have the inclination to do it again today. All right, so that wasn't my best work, I don't think, but it's fine. I think I was just rushing a little bit, because I wanted to get on and do this painting, and I need to learn, I think, just to be a little bit more patient and take a bit more time with things. Okay, so I'm all sorted, I think. I'm going to do some sketches of oyster catchers, but I'm not very prepared, and the photos I took are on new. So I'm going to take some from my books. I've got this one, which is the AA British Bird book. In fact, they're both AA ones. One's just older than another, and it's got a couple of pictures of oyster catchers, so I'm just going to use that for some sketches to start with, and then we'll actually get the images off of the phone ready for when I'm doing the proper painting, but just so I've got a feel for it, really. So I don't really feel that I need to paint the landscape so much, because I have done that landscape quite a few times, but I will probably just draw up the composition that I want. But first I'm just going to do a little bit of doodling, and I will probably do continual line, because that seems to be my thing at the moment. So let's have a go. I'm going to move you around. I have drawn oyster catchers a few times before, and I will say I've never really been massively successful, and I don't know why, because they are quite graphic in shape, so you'd think I'd be alright, but I don't know, I always seem to get them not quite right. That's okay. Let's just get some sketches done and see how it goes. Crayon, because that is what is on the floor, so let's use that. This is really terrible. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's try another one. I don't think I should be allowed to do feet on birds. It's terrible. Well, they're not very good, are they? But that's okay. I'm sure it'll be better when it's my own image. This one looks like a kind of cross between a puffin and a guillemot or something, but it definitely doesn't look like an oyster catcher. Anyway, that is fine. So there's some little sketches using the probably free from a restaurant crayon and my Pitt graphite mat and a uni pen. Just been looking through my phone trying to work out which image I want to do, so I've narrowed it down to these two, which I'll put in now. I think I'll probably do the one with the grass in, because I think otherwise it might just be a bit flat. But I think what I'm going to do, there's lots of thinking here, what I'm going to do is just draw up, I couldn't think of this word last week, could I? You know, what's this? Composition. Just do a quick composition drawing to work out which one I think would work better. And then I'll come back to you, but I need the photo open, so I can't film me drawing it. Because I suppose I could go in and get my iPad. I can't be bothered, so I'm going to just do it here. Because if I go in, there's kids in there. You know what happens. Get stay. I have done my little mock-ups. I'm torn, actually. So, very little sketches. Obviously, the oyster catchers were a lot further out, but that would make pretty dull drawing if I just did a little black dot in the background, because they were behind the boat. I feel like composition wise this one is much stronger. I quite like them both. Which would you choose? Sorry, you haven't heard that for at least 2 videos. I'm very tired. So today was workshop day. I put in a few clips from today. It was very lovely. All the people that came made amazing prints, way better than mine, which is what you want, isn't it? But I'm not sure I managed to inspire a teacher. Maybe just taught them some techniques, but it was really lovely. I did think, for those of you that haven't been here for a while, I just thought I'd show you the mock piece, the one that I did. It was about 4 months ago now, I think. So we're doing Tetrapak printing. So this was the plate that I made, and then this was the print that came off of that. It's very lovely. I did this as part of a series of owl heads, so if you want to go back and watch that, do, because I did it in watercolour and in acrylic as well. I was very prolific. So that's that. And then today, as a demo piece, I did something a little bit more illustrative, because I was kind of rushing and I didn't really want to spend ages doing it. But that's the plate. I did a 2-part plate so that I could show them that you could do 2 parts. So it's that part and then that part that jigsaw's into it. It's still very wet, but as are the prints. Don't judge. They weren't my best inkings. It's quite cute. It has no beak. You can't see the beak. You can kind of see the beak. It's quite sweet. I don't hate it. I just wish I'd spent an extra 5 or 10 minutes inking it up properly. But if I'd have done that, it would have eaten into their time, so I didn't. And then this is the 2-plate one. Again, I think it's quite sweet. I really like the Tetrapak printing process. It's so easy. Way easier than the cardboard ones that we were doing, just because it's much more pliable. You can cut it with scissors, you can easily get a blade through it. So really enjoyed that, and I'm definitely gonna do some more of that, but in the shed when I've got a bit of time and I don't feel like I've got to rush. So we'll do some more of that, I think, in the future. But really lovely, and I'll pop in the clips, or have already popped in the clips. So that is that. I don't know what else I've got to say, really. I got home later than anticipated because we had a local football match. My daughter wasn't playing, but she was mascot for, so I've just been to watch her and watch the first half of the match. But it means I've got no time today to do any painting, which is really unfortunate. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just take my sketchbook in the house with me and get the sketches done there, off camera. And then when I come back on, I think my day off is Thursday, so it's a very tight window to get something done ready for you for Saturday. It might not be a full picture. It might just be a few, steps up to it, which would be a shame, but I don't want to rush it because I was so pleased with these last 2 paintings that I feel like I just want to keep that momentum going, and I want to create images that I'm happy with rather than just rushing to get them out. So that's what we're going to do. With that, I'm going to finish tidying up because I'm surrounded by workshop paraphernalia. So I'm going to tidy up, and I will see you on Thursday. Have a lovely week. Did you enjoy that before I start waffling on again? I do love doing the workshops, and they are really, like, they bring quite a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? They add value to me and to me as an artist, but they're a lot of work. And so I do sometimes have to spend, quite a few days prepping. There's the marketing, there's the, just generally getting everything ready. And we haven't really been getting the bums on seats that we need to make that worthwhile. I mean, barely been covering the cost of the hall. So yeah, it's not been easy, but switch the subject a little bit. So I think the one thing I've been learning recently, and I know we've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again. The one thing that I've been learning, that creativity and being able to make art that I like, that brings me joy, needs to evolve. It needs to kind of come to me naturally and have time to breathe. You know, you can't force it out, and I don't want to rush it, because I mean I have definitely done that before, and when I've rushed things it just doesn't feel grounded or intentional, and that is not the energy that I want to bring to the channel or to my artwork. So I am choosing to give myself a break, and rather than worrying too much about the algorithm and creating a video that might get views and get subscribers and things like that, actually I'm just going to have to be honest with you and say I didn't get it done, sorry, please bear with me, and just show you what I have done. So I think I've shown you already, but I'm going to show you anyway. These were the initial composition mock-ups. I like this one because the birds were able to be closer in the foreground and bigger. I feel like this probably had a little bit more going on it to draw your eye around, so that's where I was stuck. I also feel like this one I can bring more colours in and a bit more texture. And then these were some of my just sketches of the oyster catchers. Then we did that in the last, like I started recording that at the weekend, and then I said I was going to do these big mock-ups, which I've done. But watching back at it and realising that I was filming that and doing these sketches at 5 in the morning before I got my daughter up for school, got the packed lunches done, went to work. It's like, that is no, there's no life, it's no way to be. It's not conducive to me giving my best work or being able to let my brain be free and work on composition and feel it. I like to feel my way around a painting. You will have seen that with my last few. I like to get it out, redo it, move things, add and keep adding, and just sort of feel my way through it. And when you've been up since 3 in the morning and you decide to crack open the paints at 5 before all the housework has to start, I think that's probably when I realised, Katie, what are you doing? You're focusing more on just trying to get something done rather than get something out that you are proud of, or that feels real, or that has had the space and time it needs to work. Anyway, I'll put in the little time lapses of me doing that now. Did you see the time lapses? On top of my cooker, still quite dark outside. So it was just, not that it was stupid. I felt like I was trying to use my time effectively, but actually what I should have been doing was sitting on the sofa with a cup of coffee. I'm going to go back a bit. You're on my new camera, so let's hope the audio and everything comes out okay. But it's wider and it's quite hard to get them in. So these are the two. I think this one's probably a little bit more interesting, but I haven't had a chance to work over them more and sort of develop them. So I might have a little play now. used my watercolour pencils, but I've not used any water. I just like them because they're really soft, so I don't know, they just work really well on top of stuff. I've used my favourite Pitt graphite mats, and then I just popped over the top some oil pastels just because I wanted something quite immediate and direct. And the ones I've had these since I was a child, so at least 10 years. I've had these about over 30 years, these, and they are Sakura Craypass Super. There was 25 in there. I think I've added things to them over the years because there's different ones in there, but they're very retro, but they still work and they're absolutely fine for what I need. And actually I quite liked using them. I haven't used oil pastels for a long while, but I think now I'm doing more mixed media, I might do a bit more of that. But let me show you the two paintings I've done. One I prefer over the other. I think you'll be able to guess which. I didn't go too heavy on this one, so it's not this one. So this was the sort of straight, this was A, I think. And then, is it A? Yes, that was A. And then this one's B, and I quite like this as it is actually. So this is the composition that I will go with, I think. So I'm going to have a think about that. I'm not going to rush into it. I'm not going to start it today because I don't have time, and if I do, I think I'm just going to rush it. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to call it quits, and I'm going to get on with some of the jobs that need to be done so that I can breathe a little bit, as in the housework jobs, the chores, the errands, all that sort of stuff that just puts weight onto somebody. Me. It's putting weight onto me. I don't think it's putting weight onto anyone else. But I'm going to go and get that done so that I can try and be a little bit more relaxed and free when I come back into the shed next time. Okay. And I am really excited for getting that next one done because I really love these paintings and I've really been enjoying doing them. And I also want to get out somewhere new over the next couple of weeks to get me a little bit more inspiration for my next series of paintings, because I got so much out of those few hours I spent away from my shed, outside in nature, listening and feeling and, you know, seeing what was going on, and the birds and the wind and all of those things, you know, elements, that's the word I'm looking for. I got a lot out of that and I think it showed in my art, so I definitely need to do that. So my focus this week, and I haven't got much time again, but I don't have any plans for my day off, is to get that painting. I'll make my decisions today about what we're going to do, then we're going to get that painting started and hopefully finished, ready for the next video. So thank you for being here and supporting my little shed, my shed-based corner of the internet. And I need to stop fidgeting. You can tell when I'm nervous, which is usually when I'm doing these face-to-face conversations rather than just painting, talking at you while I'm painting. That is much easier than this for me. And have you noticed I can't give you eye contact? So yes, I was thanking you. Thank you very much for supporting me. If you've watched this video, brilliant. Please think about giving it a thumbs up. And thank you for letting me share that sort of real side of this journey. Because sometimes that's what you got to do, isn't it? You've got to be real. And there's a lot on the internet, on here on YouTube and on social media that isn't real. And often it's made to look maybe easier than it is. It's not that easy. If this is your first video here, I apologise. They are usually a little bit more interesting than this. So maybe if you subscribe, you might get to see one of them more interesting videos. But maybe go back a couple of weeks, because I've done some really good ones over the last few weeks. Ones that I feel really proud of. So maybe go back and watch those if this is your first video. If you enjoy these kind of honest chatty videos, feel free to comment. I can't imagine that many of you do, but you know, each their own. Some people might just like me rambling in my shed and listening to the wind bashing it up. Take care, and I will see you soon.